All right, we live. We live. Solid, solid. Let's make sure we share the like and share the class real quick. You know what I'm saying. All right, Shalom to Christ, Israel. Shalom Yahweh Shem Yahushai Bagatha to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shemar Latah Shem Yahushai to all the sisters out there in the nation of Israel. This is the Isupk starting out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. You see what I'm saying? Under Commander Juliana. And today is a very special day if you are a black man, if you are a Hispanic man, if you are a Native American Indian man, if you're from Guatemala, you see what I'm saying? If you are or your ancestors are on that 12 tribes chart. You see what I'm saying? If you are biblically an Israelite, you see what I'm saying? Today is a very important day for you and your people and your culture because today is the Feast of Purim. You see what I'm saying? What is Purim? We're going to get right into it, man. You see what I'm saying? We're going to get into it and we're going to break it down because today is a feast day. Now, let me ask y'all something. Is today a high holy day? It is? Mm-hmm. You say yeah? What makes today a high? Are you sure? You said it's not a high holy day.
I said it is.
You said it is. You said it isn't. Why is it a high? Why is it not a high holy day? You said it's not a high holy day.
There's only 3 high holy days.
Okay, but what makes a high holy day a high holy day?
When the Lord commands you, where those 3 that He talks about, where it's Passover, Tabernacles, and another one I'm not too sure about.
What about you, Taza? Why do you say today is a high holy day?
I thought a high holy day was anything that was celebrated as far as what the Most High wanted.
Okay, let me break it down for y'all real quick. Now, the reason we call today a feast day and not a high holy day, like if it was a high holy day, you know what I'm saying? I'll be calling brothers up to read the scripture in the Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? I'll be required to wear a garment. Y'all be required to wear a garment. You know what I'm saying? But today isn't a high holy day. Why? Because high holy, in order for it to be a high holy day, it has to be listed in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. You see what I'm saying? Anybody ever ask you, what's the difference between a high holy day and a feast day? The high holy days are listed in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. You can find those there. You see what I'm saying? Anything outside of that we honor or we celebrate or we acknowledge, that is a feast day. You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference between a high holy day and a feast day, just for anyone online who might be a little bit confused. And before we get into it, I just want to let everybody know, make sure you like and you share these classes. You see what I'm saying? Not just this one, not just the IGBK Las Vegas. Make sure you share New York's class, Philly's class. You see what I'm saying? Make sure you share the classes in the UK. Make sure you share the classes in California, in Arizona, because there might be somebody out there that was just like you who didn't have this truth. But because you shared it, to your timeline, somebody who you might have known from 15 years ago might see it and they might have needed that. It could save their life. Just like we're going to see how the Lord saved our lives in this topic right here. Before we get into that, I want you to give me the book of Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 7. You see what I'm saying? Because it's something that I want to break down. There's a certain formula to understanding the Bible. So before we go into the book of Esther, we can find the breakdown for why we acknowledge Purim. You can find a history of why we acknowledge Purim. I want to show you the formula to understanding this Bible so you can understand Purim a little bit more as well. So go ahead and read that when you got it.
This is Proverbs chapter 1 and verse number 7.
Mm-hmm.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. What does that mean? Think about that. What does it mean when it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge? How? Let me ask you a different question. What does it mean to fear the Lord?
Respecting him and keeping his ways.
I can't hear you.
By respecting him and keeping his ways.
By respecting him and keeping his ways. Okay. Why? That's not the answer I'm looking for, but what do you mean by that? What do you mean by respect? What do you mean by is respect and fear synonymous? I respect my woman. You know what I'm saying? Do I fear her? So what do you mean by respect and keeping his ways? You see what I'm saying?
So
What does it mean to fear the Lord?
Fear the Lord is knowing that the Lord can kill you at any moment.
That's true. But bring me home though. Let me ask you brothers. Hey, Kalad, what does it mean to fear something? Do you know what fear is? It's like what does it mean to fear? What do you think, sis? What do you think it means to fear the Lord?
You be afraid of what's going to happen if you don't keep the commandments.
You wait. Say that first part again.
You be afraid of what's going to happen to you.
To be afraid. You see what I'm saying? That's like the reason I asked that question is because I want to show how when it comes to reading the Bible, read the scripture you just read again, just so everybody can catch up.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse number 7.
Right.
The fear of the Lord.
The fear of the Lord. Go ahead.
The beginning of knowledge.
You can understand everything that goes on in your life. You can understand everything that went on in the past if you fear the Lord and you understand what comes with that. Now I'm gonna ask the question one more time. What does it mean to fear the Lord? Go ahead, sis.
You be afraid of what's going to happen to you if you don't keep the commandments.
To be afraid. Now you see. Now this is the thing about Christianity. This is what Christianity can do. It can complicate that which is simple.
That's right.
You ask a question. What does it mean to be scared of God? To be afraid. You scared of? You know what I'm saying? It can make you start thinking deeper than you have to think. You see what I'm saying? But to in simple terms, to fear the Lord is to be afraid. I don't know about y'all, but when I see that, when I read about that power that had Moses split the Red Sea and then drowned an entire army, you see what I'm saying? Killed the firstborn son of all the Egyptians. I'm scared of that. The same power that put us in captivity countless times, punished us by putting us in I fear that power. So when the Lord says, "Thou shalt not steal," guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to steal, man, because I know what he's capable of. And guess what that is? That is a wise decision. Because if you steal and the Lord said not to steal, what can the Lord do to you? He can kill you, right? You see what I'm saying? So drop that and go to Psalms. Give me Psalms 119 and 104. You can stay where you at, Tazawar. I'm going to let the brother get it because you holding Esther for me. We're going to go to the book of Esther. I just want to break down the formula to understanding the Bible real quick so that we all understand exactly what we're getting ourselves into when we come here. You see what I'm saying? Let me first also say, you got the scripture, right? Did you hear what I said? Okay. But let me first also say how important it is that brothers and sisters, even those all of you watching online, decided that you could be doing anything else in the world right now, but you chose to be here tonight on this day. You see what I'm saying? It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday night. You can be doing anything. All manner of wickedness and all manner of whatever the hell you please. You see what I'm saying? But you chose to be here tonight. Why? Because you care about what God wants.
That's
you
right.
See what I'm saying? And the angels rejoice when they see that you chose them over the world, man. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead and read that when you got it.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 104.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask the room this first. Now, we saw that fearing the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, right? But how do you get knowledge, though? We know that's the beginning of knowledge, but how do you get knowledge?
By his word.
By his word. Okay, what do you mean by that, though? Go ahead, Tyler Ward.
To be born again, so to speak, like to erase everything that you knew before, to now be able to absorb everything that you're gonna now relearn.
Okay, well, if I could, it's easy to say. If I tell somebody you need to be born again, you need to forget everything you knew. What do they do once they forget everything they knew? How do you gain knowledge after that?
Study.
Study what?
Prove the scriptures.
Prove. Can you prove that? Can you show me that in the Bible where you have to study? Nah, you reading it. I'm not gonna ask you because you got it right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? But you see you see my point though?
Come.
When you come into this truth and you claim to believe in something, you see what I'm saying? Your family gonna be like, what the hell? Why are you believing in this? Why is this what you want to follow? Why is this what you want to do? It's very important that you're able to prove what it is you're saying biblically.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you just going through a phase as far as they're concerned. You see what I'm saying?
Come.
You said your name is Taz of War? Man, your name is Carl. Stop playing with me. What the hell does Taz of War mean? You see what I'm saying? You gonna be back for Thanksgiving next year. I ain't worried about it. But you see my point though? You want to be able to break down and prove what it is you're saying. You see what I'm saying? So go with that being said, you said that what was your answer? You said that
to forget everything you knew before and to relearn everything that.
But you said that you gain understanding by studying, right?
Come.
I said prove that. Here's the precept right here. Go ahead and read that.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 104.
Mm-hmm.
Through thy precepts.
Through thy what?
Through thy precepts.
Through thy what?
Through thy precepts.
What is a precept?
Precept is.
You see, we read that all the time in the Bible. Go ahead, sis. A scripture, absolutely. She owned it. A precept is a scripture in the Bible. That's a precept. Now, when it says precepts, through thy precepts, it's talking about. Think about how we break down the Bible. You see what I'm saying? There's 10 different scriptures that all mean the same thing from the Old Testament and the New Testament. So when you breaking something down, for example, John 3:16, you see what I'm saying? I'll go to John 3:16, and then I'll go to the book of Hebrews 1:11, and then I can go here and I can go there because all of these different scriptures all prove the same exact point. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it says through thy precepts, not just one precept, it's not just one scripture that you're going to read that's going to be the answer to your life. You see what I'm saying? That's what Christians like to do. They read John 3:16, and they think they got all the answers. God loves everybody. You see what I'm saying? They don't see right under that at verse 17 where it says, "Oh, ye children of Israel." You see what I'm saying? So you have to read line upon line, precept upon precept. Keep on reading that.
Through thy precepts I get understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore I hate every false way.
Oh my goodness. Therefore I what?
Hate every false way.
Who can give me an example of some false ways? Go ahead, Taz of War.
Celebrating Thanksgiving.
Celebrating Thanksgiving. That's a false way. Go ahead, young man.
Eating pork.
Eating pork. That's a false way. Now, why is that a false way?
Because just on a regular, pork something, for sure is not even good for you anyways. And then
Okay.
the Lord told you not to do it, so just don't do it.
Where?
Leviticus 11, verse 7.
There we go. That's what I want. That's what you got to be able to do off the top of your head. You see what I'm saying? The book of Leviticus chapter 11, verse 7, it says what? You can paraphrase it for time's sake because we still got to get into the book of Esther.
Says, the swine you should not eat because it is unclean to you.
But you see how you know what that is, though? So if somebody did with a challenge, you'd be like, well, I ain't now eating pork my whole life. Show me that in the Bible. You can go and pull the scripture. You see what I'm saying? But let me ask this again. How can you identify a false way? How can you identify? Y'all didn't show me some false ways, gave me examples of false ways. How do you identify a false way? Think about what we've been reading right now. Go ahead, Taz of War. You guys handle first.
If you don't find it in the scriptures.
That's the exact answer I was looking for. If you don't find it in the scriptures, think about what we just read. Read that scripture again in Psalms.
Psalms chapter 119 and verse number 104.
Uh-huh.
Through thy precepts I get understanding.
So through thy precepts, I read the Bible. I read about the Feast of Purim in the book of Esther. You see what I'm saying? I see that that's something I need to keep. I see that that's something where the scripture says, keep these things and throughout all your generations and all of that. Through thy precepts, I gain understanding. Therefore, what?
I hate every false way.
Therefore, I hate every false way. Why? How do I know Christmas is a false way? How do I know Thanksgiving is a false way? Because I can't find that. I can't find any precept in the Bible. I put it like that, where it says you should acknowledge Christmas. You should acknowledge this. You should acknowledge that. And the Lord sees anything outside of what he commanded us to follow, commanded us to keep as a what? Read it again.
Through thy precepts I get understanding.
Uh-huh.
Therefore I hate every false way.
As a false way. You see what I'm saying? So he sees everything else as a false way. And obviously we know, you know what I'm saying? We all know the precepts in the scriptures that talks about Christmas and talks about all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? The Lord hates your feast days. And go ahead. You have something?
I just have a question.
Go ahead.
What about for the Christians who would tell us that all your precepts and everything you follow is in the Old Testament, and the Old Testament was done away with? How do we?
I would tell them to show me a scripture in the Bible where it says that the Old Testament was done away with. People have it confused because Christ came and sacrificed himself so that we wouldn't die. You see what I'm saying? They somehow assume that the Old Testament is irrelevant. You see what I'm saying? But when Christ was talking to the Pharisees and Sadducees, what was something he always said? As it is written. Christ is in the New Testament. Is he talking about what's written in the New Testament? You see what I'm saying? No, he's talking about the Old Testament. He's saying Christ acknowledged the laws of Moses. That's why he said, think not that I'd come to abolish the law or the prophets. You see my point? I ain't come to abolish any of that. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. You have something?
I just had a precept to go
Go ahead, break it down. Or read it. So like hey, Shalom learn Christ out of what was going on.
It's the book of John, chapter 5, and verse number 46.
Go ahead.
Had you believed Moses, you wouldn't have believed me.
What colors is written in?
Red letter.
What does that mean?
Christ.
What does it mean when the words is written in red?
Christ said it.
I mean, this is Christ talking. And where was Moses? Moses was in the Old Testament. So for anybody to try to say, well, that was in the Old Testament, but you believe in Jesus.
Right.
I hear sisters say all the time, Jesus is my man. I don't know what you're talking about. I follow Jesus. Right. Okay, well, let's see what they man said. Go read that from the top. What did Jesus say?
It's the book of John, chapter 5, verse 46. For had you believed Moses.
And this is who?
Christ.
Jesus Christ? Right. Go ahead.
You would have believed me.
What?
You would have believed me.
What?
You would have believed me.
Christ said, man, look, if you would have believed Moses, you would have believed me. Why is he saying that, though? Why would Christ say something like that? No, yeah, I know you got it in front of you. Go ahead, Tyler. Well, why you want to give it a shot to this? Why do you think Christ would say, if you believe Moses, you'll believe me? Why would Jesus Christ say something like that? This is a man that existed almost 1,000 years after Moses. Why would he say something like that? What do you think?
Because we were expecting Christ to come, and we should believe him when he comes.
We definitely should believe Christ when he came, but the reason that he said, you want to give it a shot, House Award?
Was it because I believe that Christ said that if you believe Moses, you should believe me because
you know the whole precept.
Because
go ahead.
Because Moses kept the laws.
Okay, but what does that mean to Christ though? Why would he, mind you, he's cutting somebody right now when he's saying this.
Okay.
He put somebody in their place. He's like, you sitting here telling me that I'm wrong. You saying something I don't know what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? If you would believe Moses and what Moses taught, you'll be believing me too. Why? Because Moses taught the same things that Christ is teaching. You see what I'm saying? He's like, you don't believe me the same way you was somebody who wouldn't believe Moses either. You see what I'm saying? That was Christ's point, and that was his cut to who he was talking to at that time. Keep reading.
It says, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me.
For he what?
He wrote of me.
For he what?
He wrote of me.
For he wrote of me. You see what I'm saying? You got to think, man, we're reading about priests and prophets of God. Right. You see what I'm saying? Man, that was in communication with God. Moses knew who was coming down the line, man. You see what I'm saying? Moses kept the law because he knew he had to lead his people out. And he knew that someone was going to come after him who was greater that would carry on that baton. You see what I'm saying? That would carry on that torch of keep God's commandments, man. You see what I'm saying? Acknowledge Passover when the Lord led us out of Egypt and destroyed our enemies, man. Acknowledge Purim when I ain't gonna say we ain't ready yet. You know what I'm saying? But y'all get my point though, man. You see what I'm saying? Now drop that and give me the book of let's go to Isaiah 2 and 5.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 2 in verse number 5.
Go ahead.
It says, "O house of Jacob."
Oh, who?
O house of Jacob.
Why does it say, oh, house? What is a house? Who lives in a house? What did it say? You had it. Raise your hand next time, but you had it, though. A family lives in that house. It said, oh, house of Jacob. Who is the house of Jacob? That's the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You see what I'm saying? That's Guatemala. You see what I'm saying? That's Brazil. That's the Negroes, and that's the Mexicans. That's the Puerto Ricans. It's saying, oh, a house of Jacob. All of these 12 tribes. Keep reading.
"Come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord."
Let us do what?
Walk in the light of the Lord.
What does that mean? What does it mean to walk in the light of the Lord? Go ahead.
To walk in the understanding of the Lord.
No, that's not the end. No, that's not it. Well, I mean, you're not technically wrong, but that's not the answer in this scenario. No. Go ahead, Tyler Ward.
It was similar to what the brother said, to walk in the truth, to
How do you walk in the truth?
practice what you preach, so to speak. Like,
What do you preach? What are you preaching? You preach?
but the scriptures though.
Go ahead, sis.
To walk in his word,
So walk in his word. Okay, what is his word?
the precepts and scriptures.
So you're saying that the light is the Lord's precepts and the scriptures, right? So do you know where to show that in the Bible, biblically? No? It's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, you know what I'm saying, proving the point right now. What was you going to say,
I would say his commandments.
So what is commandments?
The light.
You saying that light is the commandments. Can you prove that biblically? Prove that biblically.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 23.
Perfect. There you go.
The commandment is a lamp.
Is a what?
Is a lamp.
So the commandment is a lamp, right? And this is exactly what sis just said right now. Keep reading. The second part.
And the law is light.
And the law is the light. So when you go back to what was that? That was Psalms you were just at, right?
Isaiah 11:2.
That was Isaiah 2:5 actually. When it said to old house of Jacob, walk in the light. You see what I'm saying? That was the book of Isaiah.
Right.
And it's telling Israel, read again. What is the light?
The law is light.
Mm-hmm. The law is light. So the child of war, that's something you can show anybody who tries to say, oh, well, that was way back then, and I was way 4 times and all of that. Anyways, let me tell you something, man. Anybody that tries to say, I always hear this all the time. Well, that was back in biblical times. Well, that was biblical times. You know, that was back in those days. We are in biblical times. You don't understand that? You don't understand that we are in biblical times. You understand that there are prophecies in the Bible talking about what's going on here today in America, man. Deuteronomy 28, chapter 68 talks about black people coming to America on slave ships, man. You see what I'm saying? The Bible talks about beware of the false prophet that says, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. You see what I'm saying? The Bible talks about Martin Luther King. And the book of Revelations talks about what's going to happen to America too. We are living biblical times. So you can't say that was back in biblical times. You see what I'm saying? This is biblical times, man. You see what I'm saying? Was that it on that? Keep reading.
It says, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
Now, let me ask you something. If keeping the law and following the Lord's commandments is light, it's the opposite of light.
Darkness.
Precept. Nothing? Give me Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 8. We're going to get into it. I got like one more scripture after this, and then I promise you we're going to get into Esther and Purim. You know what I'm saying?
Ephesians 5 and what?
Verse 8.
The book of Ephesians.
Wait. Before you do that, though, y'all said that the opposite of light is dark, right? So what is darkness in the biblical context? I'm not going to ask y'all for a precept for this. I promise. Go ahead, Salvador.
To go against the grain.
What's going against the grain?
To go against what the word of God is in the scriptures.
So what was that? That was just Psalms, right? Where it said, I hate every false way.
Mm-hmm.
So in the darkness would be acknowledging false ways. You see what I'm saying? That's a false way right there, man. You celebrating Christmas, man. You acknowledging a false way. You walking in darkness, man. And biblically, one thing that we have always done as a nation was stray away in the darkness. You see what I'm saying? Read that scripture when you got it.
Come on, it's the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and verse number 8.
Mm-hmm.
For ye were sometime in Salakia. For ye were sometime darkness.
So what?
For ye were sometime darkness.
So we was sometimes in darkness, man. You see what I'm saying? We was in darkness at this time. We wasn't keeping the laws of God. We was doing what the hell we wanted to do. Think about how Moses led us out of Egypt, man. And what was the first thing we did? I ain't gonna lie, man. It ain't no food out here. We should go back and we had it cracking in Egypt. You were slaves in Egypt. You see what I'm saying? But people wanted to go back to their captivity. What is that called? Stockholm syndrome, man. And you'll run into a lot of Black and Hispanic people who suffer from Stockholm syndrome, man. You tell them, hey, man, the Lord loves you, and he's going to turn the tides in America. Everybody claim to believe in so-called karma, right? Oh, karma is going to come back and get you. When really, that thing that you pretending is karma, that's God's judgment. You see what I'm saying? That's the Lord making you pay for that. People would like to give that credit to karma. Well, if you believe in karma so much, what the hell makes you think that our oppressors are not going to have to pay for what they did to us in slavery, man?
My dad needs help.
You need help?
Yeah.
Tazawar, go ahead and help the brother out. But y'all get what I'm saying? Like, what makes you think that they're not going to pay? We tell, yeah, man, they're going to pay for what they did. The Lord is going to reward. The Lord is going to pay back 10 times for them beating our backs in slavery. You're full of hate. You see what I'm saying? Like, well, damn, I thought you believed in karma. I thought you believed that you reap what you sow. I thought you believed in eye for an eye. Not when it comes to your oppressor, huh? You see what I'm saying? But y'all get the point, though. You see what I'm saying? Walking in darkness is not keeping the law. Walking in the light is keeping the law, man. And it's important that we do everything we got to do to keep this law. It's important that we study to show ourselves approved so we can always explain what it is we follow. You see what I'm saying? Because that's part of this job. Somebody asks you, damn, what's those fringes? What's that thing you got on your head? Why are you wearing armbands? You know what I'm saying? I went to the store today and somebody was like, are you in a biker gang or you're not wearing all black? What's going on here? I got to be able to explain to them what it is I'm doing, man. You see what I'm saying? I got to be able to tell them who I am. And that's something that is very important when it comes to going to the book of Esther. You got Esther 1:1, right? We're going to go to Esther 1:1, and we're going to get right into it, man. We're going to get into this story. Now, let me tell y'all something about Esther real quick. You see what I'm saying? So, let me tell y'all something about Esther real quick, man. Matter of fact, go to Baruch. That's in the Apocrypha. You got your Apocrypha with you? Go to Baruch chapter 4 and verse. That's 4 and 1. Go to Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1 real quick.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse number 1.
This is important for everything, for all the precepts we just read. This is what ties it all together. Go ahead.
This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endured forever.
For how long?
Forever.
For some time.
Forever.
In the Old Testament.
Forever.
That was way back in those times.
Forever.
That's a precept. This is another precept type of word you could pull for anybody who says that was back in those days. There's a law that endured forever. What does forever mean?
Forever.
Forever means forever, nigga.
Everlasting.
So, everlasting. Keep on reading though.
All they that keep it
Go ahead.
shall come to light.
Shall come to what?
Shall come to light.
Keep reading.
But such as leave it
Go ahead.
shall die.
Shall what?
Shall die.
Man, those. What does the scripture say? The wages of sin is what? Death. You see what I'm saying? Keep on reading to the next verse.
Come. Verse number 2. Turn thee, O Jacob.
You got Esther, right?
Come.
There you go. Keep on reading.
And take hold of it.
Turn thee, O Jacob. Oh, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We just read about what light is, right? Let's go ahead. Keep reading.
Walk in the presence of the light.
Do what?
Walk in the presence of the light.
What does the Lord want us to do?
Walk in the presence of the light.
The Lord wants us to walk in the presence of the light, which we just broke down, was keeping his commandments. And each and every one of you here tonight are keeping the commandments of God. And the angels are proud of that, man. And that is no small feat. Don't think that just because you know what I'm saying, oh, ain't no big deal. I'm just here, you know what I'm saying? Well, you know what I'm saying? I promised I'll be here or this or that. No, it is very important that you're here tonight, man. God is pleased with that, man. You see what I'm saying? And now you're gonna learn why it's important that we keep the Feast of Purim, man. You got that, Taz of War? Go ahead, read that for me, Papa get shot.
The book of Esther, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus.
His name is it's pronounced Ahasuerus.
Ahasuerus,
yeah.
Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus.
Go ahead. Now this is a great king right here. I'm talking about filthy rich. A filthy rich king back in the day. It's around like 400 to 500 BC. You see what I'm saying? Somewhere around that time. Keep reading.
This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia.
This was back in the times of the Persian and the Medes. Y'all ever heard about the Persian and the Medes, right? This is a king that reigned during the Persians and the Medes. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Over 120 provinces.
What is that? What is a province? Does anybody know go ahead?
Like a state.
Like a state or a branch of government. So imagine how rich this king was. He reigned from over how many? 127 is that? 127 governments. You see what I'm saying? He had all the power at this time. You see what I'm saying? This is a heathen king that we were under during this time period. So you're gonna keep reading.
Verse 2. That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus,
mind you as well, let me tell you something. Y'all know who Ahasuerus is as well? Who he's recognized as in today's terms? Who's seen the movie 300?
Leonidas.
No. King Xerxes.
Xerxes.
This is literally King Xerxes recorded here in the Bible. You see what I'm saying? When you go to the second book of Esther in the Apocrypha, you don't got to pull it right now because that's a whole nother breakdown. But somebody check online, make sure we still rocking good. It kind of froze up a little bit right here. But when you go to the second book of Esther that you can find in the Apocrypha, it calls him Xerxes. You see what I'm saying? This is King Xerxes, a true living king. It's one thing to say, yeah, the Bible is real, and this is, you know what I'm saying? These people really existed. But now we're looking at a king that we good? It's frozen? What the hell going on? Let me see. Can turn it up. Can they hear us? I might have to restart it. Damn, they can hear us. I like it. All right, let's turn it back. Let's turn it back down. We're dealing with some technical difficulties, so I apologize in advance for anybody that's tuned in right now and can't follow along. But hopefully there's a buffer out and the camera, get itself together. So bear with me. But yeah, go ahead.
King Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in the Shushan, the palace.
Keep reading.
Verse 3. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants. So in the 3rd year of his reign, he decided to make this day a celebration. Man, so on this day, we're going to do this. We're going to turn up and all of this. Mind you, I'm going to stress throughout the time we read this. This is not our culture. You see what I'm saying? This ain't our culture. This ain't our feast. This is a king that's throwing the feast similar to how America would throw Thanksgiving and Memorial Day. Yeah, Memorial Day and all of that. So keep reading. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the noble and princes of the provinces being before him.
So everybody that he reigned over was required to keep this celebration. You see what I'm saying? Holiday, if you would. That's what people will consider it now. Keep reading to verse 4.
Verse 4. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days.
So this is a consistent thing. You see what I'm saying? He's like, man, we're going to come together. I'm going to show all my riches. We all going to turn up and we all going to be proud of how successful I am. Now drop down to verse 9.
The book of Esther, chapter 1 and verse 9. Also, Vashti, the queen.
Vashti,
The queen.
the who?
The queen
So also the queen on this day, right? Go ahead.
made a feast for the women.
For the who?
For the women.
For the who?
For the women.
So on the same day, his queen, she like, oh, the same way you're doing this, she threw her own feast for the women. Go ahead. Keep reading.
In the royal house which belonged to King Osiris.
So she took the royal house that belonged to King Osiris and she threw her own feast. You see my point? Keep reading.
In verse 10, on the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine.
Now look, now, mind you, we said this thing was going on for 7 days. I think I just fixed it. I hope. Let me know if y'all can let me know if I'm moving. Is the camera moving? The what I see y'all saying you can hear me, but let me know if y'all can still see me though. Is it like shaky or whatever? I think I just fixed it, but hopefully it helped out. You know what I'm saying? Say can do whatever you want to do to try to stop this truth from coming out, but it ain't gonna stop. You see what I'm saying? We gonna acknowledge today. We gonna break this down because the Lord said so. You see my point? Go ahead.
On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine.
Was married with wine. What does that mean? He faded right now. You see what I'm saying? He faded. He feeling good, man. We partying. We partying for 7 days. All right, they can see me solid. We good. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Keep reading.
He commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zether,
go ahead,
and Carcass.
Go ahead.
The 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king.
So he commanded his 7 chamberlains to do what? Keep reading.
Verse 11, to bring Vashti, the queen, before the king with the crown royal.
They had the alcohol. Not playing. That's not what that is. But he commanded his servants like, hey man, you know what? I'm feeling good right now, man. Go fetch me my wife. Go get my queen. Go bring her here. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead, keep reading.
With the crown royal.
Go ahead.
To show the people and the princess her beauty.
Why he like, man? Now you got to really put this in today's time. As in the king, he rich, he drunk. He think he got the baddest woman in the building. Man, y'all, my wife, she beautiful, man. You know, man, go get my wife, man. You know what I'm saying? She the most amazing woman of all time. Hey, my service, go fetch my wife. Where she at? Go get her. Go ahead.
For she was fair to look on.
Or he was fair to look on. Go ahead. He like, man, I promise you. Go ahead.
But the queen Vashti refused to come.
She did what?
Refused to come.
Go ahead.
At the king's commandment by his chamberlain.
Where you at?
Verse 12.
Verse 12. Now think about this. Now imagine, yeah, man, go get my wife, man. Man, go fetch her for me. Let her know. Tell her to come here real quick. And then your servants go get her. They come back. Yes, like it, sir. She said she ain't coming. He's sitting there like, he got all these people in front of him waiting for this amazing reveal. Now he embarrassed. So keep reading. Really think about this.
Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
You raise your hands, sis? I'm sorry? Oh, you call? Turn this heater on the sister right here. Yeah, let her get some. Yeah. Make sure. Let's keep the sister warm, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Can you feel it? Is that close enough for you? Oh, I see what you're saying. Come. Oh, no sweat. Go ahead and do your thing, sis. No sweat. Yeah. But so imagine this, right? Imagine like you have to really think about the level of disrespect. Imagine you tell your rib, hey, go make me a sandwich. She like, go make your own sandwich, nigga. Like, you see what I'm saying? But this didn't just happen on some like personal shit. This is for everybody.
Right.
That's the difference. He in front of everybody, and he like, man, tell my wife to come here, man. I'm the king. Tell her to come here. You know what I'm saying? And she said, no. Make your own sandwich, nigga. In front of everybody. You see what I'm saying? Sitting up with the brothers. Hey, you make me a sandwich? Make your own sandwich. That's what just happened. You see what I'm saying? So read again where it says therefore.
Verse 12. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
Pissed off. And he's faded too. So he's furious. He's absolutely livid. You see what I'm saying? He can't believe it. He's like, what the fuck? It's a lie for my language. He's hot. Keep reading.
And verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. Verse 14. And the next unto him was Carthena, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Medes,
go ahead.
Marcina, and Memucan.
Go ahead.
The 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom.
This is all his wise men. They see how absolutely furious and livid he is. So they trying to propose a solution. Go ahead.
Verse 15. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law? Because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlain. So
they like, okay, I see how angry you are. What do you want to do about this? You know what I'm saying? What is your command? What should we do according to law? Because I see that you are absolutely livid right now. See what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And Memucan answered before the king.
Well, it was the king that asked this question. Go ahead.
And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only.
Listen to this part right here. This part is very important. Go ahead. Keep reading.
Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in provinces of the king of Sars.
Why did they say that? They said she didn't just disrespect you. Don't look at it. Don't read down. Don't read down that. Why did I see you? Don't read down. Why do you think that they said she didn't disrespect you, sir? She disrespected everybody. That's all the men that's under you. She disrespected all of them by doing what she did. Why would he say that? Go ahead, Tazawar. Why do you think?
I think because not only did she disrespect her husband and all the men under him, because if she wouldn't listen to her very husband, then any other man wouldn't stand a chance. So it's like if you disrespect him, then we're automatically by default disrespected because we not sleeping with you. So why would you be obligated to listen to us when the person who you is sleeping with, you're not even listening to?
Okay, you was on it and then you kind of drifted off a little bit.
Okay.
You kind of drifted off a little bit at the end there, but you was on it in the beginning. You want to give it a shot? Think about it. This is the king of 128 provinces. He's ruling from Persia to Media. You see what I'm saying? The amount of land this is the man right here. This is the guy right here, man. If yo broad don't gotta listen, this is how women will take it at that time. If she don't gotta listen to you, and you got all the power you got, why the hell should I have to listen to Carl over there? See what I'm saying? Nigga, you ain't nobody. Like think about the amount of outrage that this one deed could have caused. Well, Queen Vashti told King Ahasuerus he gonna make his own goddamn sandwich. So imagine a mere peasant or somebody who's living a regular life. You think they wise gonna listen when they look into the royals as an example? That's why the princess was like, man, she didn't disrespect you with that shit. She disrespected all the men under you. She disrespected all of us. If she don't gotta listen, why would my wife listen? You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
In verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husband in their eyes.
They shall despise their husbands. You can make your own goddamn sandwich. I don't give a damn about none of it. Go ahead.
When this shall be reported, the king of Sars commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Keep reading. Verse 18. Likewise, shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath.
They like, bro, this is gonna create outrage throughout every household of your kingdom because she thought She didn't have to do a damn thing you said. This is going to create contempt and wrath. Keep reading.
Verse 19. If it please the king, it's like it. If it please the king,
I think listen to the respect they talk to King Ahasuerus with. If it please the king, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
let there go a royal commandment before him.
Mm-hmm.
Let there go a royal commandment from him.
Right.
And let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered.
Go ahead.
That Vashti come no more before the king Ahasuerus.
Do what?
Come no more before the king Ahasuerus. And let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
Keep reading.
Verse 20. When the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small.
So what just happened? Break it down. Who could break it down? What did we just read? What just happened just now? Go ahead, Charles Ward.
So I think he just made a law that women should worship their husbands no matter their status.
No, that's not what just happened. You want to give it a shout out? You want to give it a shout, young man? What just happened? What just happened was he just put her away. They said, man, you should put that broad away. F her. She got you effed up. You see what I'm saying? And when you put her away, that'll be made an example to all the other women. They'll realize when you disrespect your husband, this is what happens. Look what happened to the king. They'll see this is not someone that you should follow or look up to. You see what I'm saying? Because she disrespected her husband and got put away. So that was the solution that they gave to the problem. Go ahead,
Salaki, so when you say he put her away, the question I pose to you is this is the king's wife.
Yes.
So although he put her away, does she still get the benefits of being the queen?
No. No. All that is he basically imagine he might as well chopped her head off. He took her, he threw her out the door. You are no longer my wife, no longer my queen. All your status and reign is gone. Mind you, I want to make this very clear. This is not Israelites right here.
Okay.
This is not our culture. We can't throw our wives away because she didn't make you a sandwich. You can take that shit to council and get that shit fixed. It's like, you see what I'm saying? But we all understand the point, though. You see what I'm saying? There are no queens in Israel. You will never find in the Bible where it's talking about an Israelite queen. You see what I'm saying? Our sisters are the daughters of who? No. That's not what I'm looking for. They're the daughters of Sarah. You know who Sarah is, right?
Abraham's wife.
Abraham's wife. And what does Sarah mean? Matter of fact, what was Sarah's name before it was Sarah?
Sarai.
Sarai. What does Sarai mean? Who remembers? Anybody online? Who remembers what Sarai means? Sarai means my princess. You see what I'm saying? That's what Sarai means. My princess. What does Sarah mean? When they was changing Sarah, what does Sarah mean? Mm-hmm. Anybody online? What does the word Sarah mean? Even today, Sarah, the meaning of Sarah is still the same. The word Sarah means princess. It went from my princess to princess. You see what I'm saying? So when the Bible say you are the daughters of, y'all don't believe me. Give me the book of what's that? I'm trying to think. That is 1 Peter. Give me 1 Peter chapter 3. We're gonna find it right now where it talks about Sarah. Give me verse 3. Give me 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 5.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse number 5. For after this manner.
No, drop down to verse 6.
This is the book of 1 Peter. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham.
Oh, there it is. Even as Sarah what?
Obeyed Abraham.
She did what?
Obeyed Abraham.
She did what?
Obeyed Abraham.
She obeyed Abraham, who was who? Her husband. Abraham was Sarah's husband. And it says what? Read it from the top.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham.
Go ahead.
Calling him Lord.
Calling him what?
Lord.
Go ahead.
Whose daughters ye are.
Whose daughters ye are. Black, Hispanic, American women, you are the daughters of Sarah. Sarah wasn't called no queen. She was called a princess. And what did Sarah do? She obeyed her husband and called him Lord. And you are the daughters of Sarah. So make my sandwich. So you should make my sandwich. So I'm obviously I'm joking around. You know that, I mean, make my sandwich real with that, but we know that our sisters' roles far exceed that of just making sandwiches. You see what I'm saying? We reading about it right now. You know what I'm saying? But y'all get the point though. So drop down, go back. Matter of fact, drop down to chapter 2. Esther chapter 2, verse 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 1.
So after all of that, you know what I'm saying, she disobeyed. She had them fucked up, and they like, yeah, you should, you know what I'm saying, do away with her. Da, 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 da. He was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Go ahead.
The book of Esther, chapter 2, verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of the king of Cyrus was appeased.
Why was his wrath appeased? Because he just heard a proper solution. He like, you know what? That makes sense. Go ahead.
He remembered Vashti.
Go ahead.
And what she had done. And what was decreed against her.
He like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, she got me messed up, man. I'm the king. She can't do me like that. Like, I like what y'all propose. Keep reading.
Verse 2. Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king.
Now we got to break this down. What is a fair young virgin? Go ahead.
Beautiful woman that's at that age of marriage.
Yes. A fair young woman of marrying age. So when he said, bring forth all the fair young virgins, you see what I'm saying? What was he saying? They were saying, you know what? We didn't do away with her. Damn her. She messed up. You see what I'm saying? So now we finna find a replacement. A virgin is not a woman that just hit her menstrual cycle. It is very important that we say that because there are weirdos out there that will dare try to use the biblical history of the Israelites to try to justify their disgusting sinful lust. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
So when the Bible talks about a fair young virgin, it's talking about a woman who is mature. Her mind is up here. You see what I'm saying? And she's ready to be married. She's at the cream of her crop, you should say. So like, bear with me real quick. Read that from the top. Read from the top.
Go.
The book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of King Cyrus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. Verse 2. Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. Verse 3. And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of the kingdom, of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan, the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Hej, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them.
Apologies, had to deal with something really fast. Where y'all at?
The book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 3.
Go back to verse 2 really fast.
The book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 2. Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king.
There you go. All right. We just broke that down, right?
Come.
Go ahead.
And verse 3. And let the king appoint officers in all their provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan.
He said, okay, so look, so what just happened? He appointed men with rank to go gather. He said, look, this is what I'm looking for. They gotta look like this, like this, like that. You see what I'm saying? Gather them all together and put them through trials, basically. We gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pick one. Somebody's gonna win. Somebody's gonna be the new queen. You see what I'm saying? So that's what they start doing. They start gathering these young, beautiful women together. Let me also know this is not all Israelite women they bring together. You see what I'm saying? He ruled from India all the way to this is Persia to me. He ruled 128 different provinces. We was not the only people that was under this captivity. That's very important to note to understand this story, understand what was happening here. You see what I'm saying? It was Israelites, it was Edomites, it was a lot of different people in captivity under King Xerxes or King Ahasuerus, as it's recorded right here in the biblical records. You see what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. So he's not just gathering Israelite women together for the king. It's Israelite women, it's heathen women. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
That they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace.
Right.
To the house of the women, unto the custody of Hedge, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women.
So y'all get the point, right? So drop down to verse 7.
The book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 7. And he brought up Hadassah.
Uh-huh.
That is Esther.
So Hadassah was Esther's sister, right?
Come.
Is that right?
His uncle's daughter.
Who is Hadassah?
Esther's uncle's daughter.
No. Read it again.
And he brought up Hadassah.
He brought up Hadassah. Go ahead.
That is Esther.
That is who?
Esther.
So who is Hadassah?
Esther.
There you go. Go ahead. Go ahead with that out. He brought up Hadassah. That is Esther. Now, this is like I said, you're going to always make sure you're able to see between these things, man. You know what I'm saying? Somebody started to act like Hadassah is a whole nother person. Also, look, we bringing up Esther right now. Let me tell you something about what the Christian church do. Hey, what y'all doing back there? Sit down. Sit down in these chairs up here. Tell your brother to come sit in these chairs too. He ain't hiding back there. Where he at? He in the house? Oh, no sweat. You want to go? You want to go back in the room? Go ahead. But
Hadassah.
Yeah, Hadassah. So Hadassah is very important that we able to break these things down. And the church will have you believe that this story is about Esther. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because that wicked spirit of feminism is on the Christian church. Is on anybody outside of the Isupk that reads the Bible.
That's right.
This is the story about Mordecai. That's who this story is about. It is not about Esther. You see what I'm saying? That's not to discredit what Esther did at all. But we read the story, you'll see how this story is truly about Mordecai. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther. His uncle's daughter.
His uncle's daughter. Go ahead.
For she had neither father nor mother.
Go ahead.
And the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Keep reading.
Verse 8. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan, the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women.
So when all of this was going on, you see what I'm saying? Now, Esther was a beautiful young woman. You see what I'm saying? Of marrying age. She was in the prime of her life.
Mhm.
She was brought up too. This is the order. This is the decree. Everybody has to come up and present themselves. You see what I'm saying? Esther had to do the same thing. Keep reading.
Verse 9. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him.
Go ahead.
And she speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her.
So look. So we got a guy right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? He like, oh, the king gonna like this one. You see what I'm saying? So he's moving her up the slide. He's giving her all the things that she gonna need to get together, and you know what I'm saying? She like, oh yeah, you bad, basically. You see what I'm saying? He gonna want you. So she going up the slot, basically. She moving up. Go ahead, keep reading.
With such things as belonged to her,
Mhm.
and 7 maidens, which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women.
So out of all the women there, they preferred Esther. You see what I'm saying? Or Hadassah. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's people in the scripture. What you got to understand about this? You see how I said Hadassah, that was Esther?
Mm-hmm.
It's people throughout the scripture that even think about your name. You see what I'm saying? Your name is Tazawar. When you go to your slave, they're going to call you something different. You see what I'm saying? Back then, it was the same exact thing. That's how you know this is the spirit of Babylon, man. That's how you know this is the spirit of Egypt. This is the spirit of all those other things, man. Because even though we have our culture and we calling ourselves one name, the world will not acknowledge me as Precinct Officer Shalimah of the Isupk.
That's right.
He won't acknowledge you as Trooper Tazawar of the
That's
Isupk.
right.
You see what I'm saying? So it was the same thing back then. You see what I'm saying? Just like Daniel was called, Daniel in the Hebrew. You see what I'm saying? Who remembers what Daniel was called? He was called Belshazzar. Daniel was called Belshazzar, man. You see what I'm saying? Even though his name was Daniel. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Verse 9. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him.
Drop down to verse 10.
Verse 10. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had changed her that she should not
Had what?
show it.
Mordecai had what?
Mordecai had changed her.
Charged
her that she should not show it.
Now, this is an Israelite right here, man. You see what I'm saying? And
when he says charged her, what is that?
Order.
Okay.
He gave her an order. Go there and do what you got to do, and don't tell them that you are an Israelite, man. You see what I'm saying? Esther was from the tribe of Benjamin. You see? Let me see. Where is it right there where it talks about where it talks about go back up to verse 5 where it talks about the lineage of Mordecai and Esther. Go to verse 5.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 5. Now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew.
I meant to read this earlier. Keep reading.
Whose name was Mordecai.
His name was Mordecai. Go ahead.
The son of Jair.
The son of Jair.
The son of Shimei.
The son of Shammai.
The son of Kish.
The son of Kish.
A Benjamite.
A what?
A Benjamite.
A what?
A Benjamite.
A Benjamite, man. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
Now, let me ask you this. It says, there was a certain Jew. But then it goes on to say a Benjamite. Why does it say that, man? What's going on there? I'll tell you what's going on there. You ask anybody in the world, these fake Jews, these Jewish cats, and these fake Israelites, they'll tell you that a Jew is only the tribe of Judah. But they just call someone from the tribe of Benjamin a Jew. Why? Because he's from the southern tribe. And the southern tribe is the house of Judah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, the northern tribe. That's a whole other breakdown, but y'all get the point, though. We all Israel, man. He was an Israelite. Keep on reading. Go back to, where was you at? Verse 10, right?
Yes.
Drop back down to verse 10. Now that we understand that Esther was a Benjamite, you see what I'm saying? And Mordecai told her, don't tell them where you're from. You see my point? Keep reading.
Verse 10. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred.
She went and got favor from the king and all of that, and went up the so-called ranks and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And Mordecai told her, "Don't tell them that you're an Israelite." Keep reading.
For Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it.
Mordecai told her not to. Keep reading.
Verse 11.
Remember that. Remember that. That is very important. Keep reading.
Verse 11. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house.
Keep reading.
To know how Esther did.
So he came and he checked on her every day. He see that she in there, she getting favor from the king and all of that. He going up to make sure she's okay, make sure everything good, make sure she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Now, when every maid's turn was come to go into the king of Cyrus, after that, she had been 12 months.
So a year passed. 12 months passed, man. You see what I'm saying? This is a consistent thing, and now it's her turn to go and see King of Cyrus. So 12 months didn't pass. All fell in. He don't like none of them. Keep reading.
Twelve months according to the manner of women.
Go ahead.
For so were the days of their purifications accomplished.
Go ahead. Take this in. Read this part. Read this part and really think about this.
For so were the days of their purifications accomplished.
Keep reading.
To wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and
6 months with oil of myrrh. Go ahead.
And 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of women.
What does that mean? What does that mean right there? That's talking about these women that was getting ready to go see this king in this palace. This wasn't the Strip. This wasn't downtown Las Vegas right here. It wasn't Fremont Street. We're talking about real amazing palaces dripping gold and all of that. Yeah, before they was ready to go see the king, they was bathing and preparing themselves. 6 months in myrrh, 6 months in sweet odors and perfumes. Think about how good these women must have smelled, man. Just walking past. 6 months every day. You see what I'm saying? Your blood is cocoa butter. Like, you see what I'm saying? Your blood smell like cocoa butter. So like it. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Then thus came every maiden unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the throne of the women unto the king's house. So
now, you see what I'm saying? Every woman that's going in there, they get whatever they want, taking whatever they need to go and please the king. Keep reading.
Verse 14. In the evening she went.
Mm-hmm.
And on the morrow, she returned into the second house of the women to the custody of Shashgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines.
Keep reading.
She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she was called by name.
So after she went up there, mind you, this is a black woman. Like, think about, like, it's easy to hear about biblical. Think about all the movies you read about the Bible. You see all these Edomites and all these white people. No, this is a black woman right here, man. You see what I'm saying? And King Ahasuerus, he was a goddamn Persian. Who are the Persians today? He was a heathen. Who are the Persians today? It's the Iranians. You see what I'm saying? In other words, an Edomite. How do you know that? Somebody look up right now. Look up when the Persians changed their name. Look that up. And it'll show you what the Persians changed their name to. Like, once again, this is real historical facts that happened and occurred. And you can use Google to prove it, man. Read that. When did the Persians change their name?
It says in the mid-1930s, the ruler of the country, Reza Shah Pahlavi, moved towards formulas the name Iran.
The what?
The name Iran.
The what?
The name Iran.
The name Iran. I believe it was officially 1958 or maybe 1938. One of the other. Y'all can look that up on your own time. But you could Google that when the Persians changed their name. But they changed their name to Iran. Like what? A century and a half ago? You see what I'm saying? This was a white man. This king. He's a Persian. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Keep reading. Isaurus was an Elamite, and as Elam, the cat we finna read about was a Persian. Keep reading.
Verse 15. Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing but Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed.
Go ahead.
And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all of them that looked upon her.
So this is his one Israelite sister amongst all these heathens who was just phenomenal. Go ahead.
Verse 16. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house, royal in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign.
Keep reading.
In verse 17. And the king loved Esther above all the women.
Above what?
Above all the women.
Above what?
Above all the women.
So this Benjamin sister right here, he loved her above all the women. Go ahead.
And she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins.
Once again, virgins means young women. Oh, when you think of the word virgin, think of a woman in her prime. That's what the Bible means when it says virgin. You see what I'm saying? Think of a woman in her prime, the prime of her life. And of all these bad women that was in their prime, the king was like, it's something about Esther, man. That what we would know today as Jamaican sister, that Jamaican sister there, man, it's something about her. I want her. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. Shalom says, I got you. Go ahead. Keep reading. Matter of fact, that was verse 17. Drop down to verse 21. So y'all get the point, right? She went through this process to meet the king. She met the king. He favored her. He said, you the one. Go ahead. Keep reading. So verse 20, drop down to verse 21.
Verse 21.
Uh-huh.
In those days.
Now all that was happening. Go ahead.
In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthon and Teresh.
Go ahead.
Of those which kept the door were wroth.
Were what?
Were wroth.
Were what?
Were wroth.
Go ahead.
And sought to lay hand on the king of Ahasuerus.
First of all, that's how you know this is niggas who wrote this. Sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. Now think about how niggas say today, I'm gonna knock him down. What's that talking about?
Beat him up.
If you say we got to knock that nigga down or blow him down, it's not talking about literally knocking him down or blowing him down. It's talking about killing. You see what I'm saying? But that's nigga slang, though. You gotta damn near be a nigga to understand that. So these two guards right here. Right. First of all, this story that we put in front of read, this is very important to understanding Purim, to understanding why this book of Esther. Once again, the church how you believe this about Esther is not about Esther. It's about Mordecai, a black man, a Benjamite, a Jamaican from the tribe of Benjamin, man. That's who this story is really about. And this part that we're about to read is crucial to understanding the point of the story and the point of why we acknowledge Purim. You see what I'm saying? Remember this. We're going to read down. We got a lot to go. Remember this stuff. Remember this story. Keep reading. So these two guards, they plotting against the king. And they're plotting a black man, a black scribe wrote to lay hands on. But we know to lay hands back then meant to kill. They was plotting to kill the king. Keep reading.
Verse 22. And the thing was known to Mordecai.
Yeah, can you hear me one time?
And the king was known to Mordecai, who was told it unto Esther, the queen.
Now look. Now Mordecai hears about this. And what does he do? Shalom, little Christ is good, all right? Mordecai hears about this. And he goes and he tells he goes and he tells Esther, like, hey, they finna kill your man. They finna knock him down right now. They finna lay hands on him. They plotting to kill him. This is the king's chamberlains. You see my point? That's the water right there. The water. Keep reading.
Was told unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name.
Now Esther then became, she didn't succeed, she didn't win. She became queen. Mordecai here was going on, he let her know. She tells the king what's going on, and she gives Mordecai the credit. You see what I'm saying? For warning him that these two guards is plotting to kill you. Remember this. Real talk. Keep reading.
23. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree.
Now what?
They were both hanged on a tree.
Now because Mordecai.
And it was written.
Well, hold on. Now because Mordecai said, hey, they plotting to kill your mans right there. Let them know what's good. These guards is plotting to kill him. And she told the king about it. They was hung on a tree. Keep reading. And it was written.
And it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
What is a chronicle? Go ahead.
History.
Or
yes, but no. Yes, but what is a chronicle? A lot of shit is history. I could throw a damn glass on the ground. That's history. But what is a chronicle though? Go ahead, Toss of War.
It's a portion of
no. All right. You want to help me out real quick?
Come on, sir.
What is a chronicle?
A chronicle? It's like a series of books, or like a series of stories, basically. So it's a series of letters, stories, books, etc.
Records.
That kind.
You see what I'm saying?
Come.
It's a series of records that have occurred. Or y'all brothers to a series of records that have happened. You see what I'm saying? So it's written. Hey, Mordecai saved King Ahasuerus' life, King Xerxes' life. You see what I'm saying? That was written in the king's records. You know, it's a book. You got the First Chronicles, the Second Chronicles, right? That's not what they talking about right here. This was written in the king's chronicles at that time. You see what I'm saying? It was written in his personal records. You see what I'm saying? I'm too wild. Come, we too wild. It's like, hey, burn another incense too. Since got more incense or live? Okay, yeah, somebody burn one more for me. Break it in half the same way and come. Burn one more for me, Bobby get shot. But you get what I'm saying though, right?
Come.
So this is something that happened and it was put in the king's record. This is very crucial to understanding the story of Purim. You see what I'm saying? It's crucial. Go ahead, I keep reading. Verse 3.
Esther chapter 3.
Verse 1.
It's the book of Esther, chapter 3, and verse number 1.
Go ahead.
After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of
Hamadatha,
the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Now while all this is going on, while Mordecai is busy saving the king's life and all of that, now this certain man right here, the king promotes. He was a what? An Agagite. Who was the Agagites? Those are the Macedonians. You see what I'm saying? In other words, Edomites, white people.
That's right.
Keep reading.
Verse 2.
Verse 2.
And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced.
They did what?
Bowed and reverenced Haman.
Now all of the servants and everybody else that was of high power and all of that, they bowed to Haman because that was the rank that he had earned in King Xerxes or King Ahasuerus' army. You see what I'm saying? It was a bow to him when he walked past. That was a commandment given. Keep reading. This is where the stories start to really get good. Go ahead.
For the king had so commanded concerning him, but Mordecai bowed not.
But what?
But Mordecai bowed not.
But who bowed not?
Mordecai bowed not.
So all these other nations and all these other people, they bow. Mind you, it wasn't just Israelites in captivity at this time. All the nations that he conquered was in captivity. Egyptians and Persians. You see what I'm saying? The Persians and the Medes, it was all the captivity. You see what I'm saying? Kind of like today. But what happened?
But Mordecai bowed not.
But Mordecai bowed not, though. Mordecai didn't bow. Imagine the stubborn ass nigga, man. Like us. It's a stubborn nigga. He's just not gonna bow. Like everybody else bowing, you just gonna stick out and not bow. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna be the sorest thumb that's not gonna bow. Go ahead.
Kind of like the Pledge of Allegiance in school when everybody got to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
But you just that one nigga that's just gonna take a knee.
Yeah.
Everybody's standing and pledging allegiance to the flag, and you just taking a knee for what? You just want to cause a problem. You just causing discord and all of that. Keep reading. That was Mordecai, man.
Nor did him reverence.
Nor did him. They all revere him. How great you are, my lord. Mordecai was like, shit, nigga. I don't know that nigga. You know what I'm saying? You a regular nigga to me. I'm a Jew. Fuck is you talking about? Salaya. You see what I'm saying? That was Mordecai's attitude. Excuse my language. Keep reading.
Verse 3. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgresseth thou the king's commandment? So now all the servants, all the people that was, the same level as Mordecai, they're like, bro, you supposed to bow when you walk by, bro. You tripping. You ever think about this in today's terms? Think about those cats at work who suck up to the manager and all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's that one cat that you just the one cat that don't. They're like, bro, you gonna get fired. Why are you doing that? You tripping, bro. You can't talk to him like that. He was a bow when Haman walks by. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading. Verse 4. Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and had hearkened not unto them, they told Haman. So they tell him every day, hey, bro, you keep walking past and you're not bowing. You got to chill with that. We keep telling you, bro, why you not bowing? You tripping. So much time passed. They're like, man, fuck you. Now you making me mad. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because strength can anger the weak if the weak is wicked. You good, Ak. Strength can anger the weak if the weak is wicked, man. You see what I'm saying? Hey, Shalom, y'all about to show me thought. Go ahead, do your thing, Ak. You know what I'm saying? Hey, see if it's any food done. Make sure you get you a plate before you roll, all right? Okay. But you see what I'm saying? Similar to like in Hanukkah, when those cats was trying to tell Izar that he was wrong for not eating that pork. And he said, man, we too damn old to be lying. They said, man, just pretend you eat the pork. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna be good. And then Izar cut him and said, we too old to be lying like that, bro. You too old to be lying like that, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do it. I'd rather die. And then they was angry and they wanted to kill him. This is the same exact spirit. You see what I'm saying? Days and days passed. They saying bow, bow, bow. He don't bow. Now they're going to tell Haman. Keep reading. To see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. What verse you at? Verse 4. 4. Keep reading. For he had told them that he was a Jew. Mm-hmm. Verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai... Now think about that. They trying to see if his matters is going to stand. Think about this for real. They try to act like we all under the same conditions here in America, right? But we all know that even though I work at McDonald's, you work at McDonald's, for example. I'm a black man and you are a white man. You see what I'm saying? Read that last part again. They said, oh, we got to see if this is going to stand. Because turns out you a Jew? You see what I'm saying? The penalties is different now. Even way back then. The penalties is different. He told them he was a Jew, so they went and told Haman, like, hold on. You see what I'm saying? Let's see if he's going to stand for this, taking this from a Jew. Keep reading. For he had told them that he was a Jew. Go ahead. Verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not. So now he's seeing Haman not bow. Now they told him about it. He's like, yeah, well, okay, no sweat. Like, I got you. But then now he walking through, you know what I'm saying, the streets or the chambers or whatever.
and he turned and he see everybody on their feet. I mean, on their knees, except for Mordecai. You see what I'm saying? Now he's seeing it with his own eyes. Keep reading.
Nor did him reverence.
Nor did him reverence. Keep reading.
Then was Haman full of wrath.
Now he like, oh, you got me effed up. You must have lost yo. You see what I'm saying? Oh, this nigga not bowing. Okay, keep reading.
Verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone.
So now we just went over it, right? Once again, you know this is niggas because they talking about laying hands. And back then, laying hands translated to what? Killing. Now Haman wants to, he don't want to fight Mordecai. He wants to kill Mordecai. Keep reading.
For they had showed him the people of Mordecai.
They showed them like, man, these are a bunch of Israelites, man. These niggas ain't like us. They different. They troublemakers. They this and they that. Go ahead.
Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews.
Did to what?
Destroy all the Jews.
Mind you, Haman was a what? Who remembers? He was an Agagite, which was what? A Macedonian, which was what? A white man. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Come.
What verse you at? 9? 8?
6.
Keep reading.
Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai.
So now he like, man, you know what? Mind you, Haman had just got a super high rank, damn near like the number 2 in King Xerxes or Ahasuerus' kingdom. You see what I'm saying? So now he's like, you know what? I got y'all. I'm gonna destroy all of your people. You see what I'm saying? Think about how much land that was, man. You know how big Persia was? You see what I'm saying? So every Israelite in the Iraq, no, every Israelite in the land of in this land, I'm killing them. They're gonna die. If they a Jew, they're gonna die because of what you did. Because think about how petty that is. Because you didn't bow. I'm gonna kill all your people. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Verse 7. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast Pur. What
is Pur? What does it mean they cast? Go ahead. You got a question?
Oh no, I just wanted to.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You good?
You know, when he was reading about bowing and how petty that was. I don't know if you've already mentioned it or not when you started reading, but like there's a theme that that also correlates with the movie who King Xerxes is. If you didn't already, speak on that.
Right.
For those of y'all that didn't know, King Xerxes, this is the Xerxes from the movie 300 that dealt with
Damn right.
King Leonidas.
Right, I'll bring that up earlier.
That being said, if I may, you got to like really see just how, I don't even know what term I want to use, like just how much of a solid of a man that Mordecai is, because look at who he's standing up to. And you got a Hollywood version of what Xerxes was like, but we're also getting a biblical account. You understand? And so, I just thought that was something that, to be
absolutely
brought out for people to understand who King Xerxes was.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah, we touched on that a little bit earlier. And even though Hollywood, they like to cut everybody's hair off, cut their beard off. Look up King Xerxes, man. He was known for that giant beard he had, giant Elamite beard that he had.
Right.
In the movie 300, they cut the beard off. He don't got no hair nowhere and all of that. But the spirit, though, that they put on King Xerxes was perfect. They captured the spirit of Xerxes flawlessly, man. You see what I'm saying? That's the one thing they did capture, man. But we're going to get into how wicked both of them was. Keep reading. Where you at? You at verse 8?
Verse 7.
7? Go ahead.
They cast Pur.
What is Pur?
Dice.
In modern times, you would consider it dice, but it's like casting lots. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
That is the lot before Haman from day to day and from month to month to the 12th month, that is the month of Adar.
Go ahead.
Verse 8. And Haman said unto King
Haman. His name is pronounced Haman. But you good.
And Haman said unto King
Ahasuerus.
There is a certain people scattered abroad.
Read this, brother. I gotta break this down in the modern way. We can read the whole thing real quick.
And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad.
Go ahead.
And dispersed among the people in all the provinces.
And dispersed. Once again, this is not just Israelites in this captivity. You see what I'm saying? There's a certain people scattered abroad, and they dispersed amongst all your servants. These particular people, even though they scattered, you gonna know them when you see them. You go ahead.
Of thy kingdom.
Of your kingdom. Go ahead.
And their laws are diverse from all people.
And they don't follow your laws, my Lord. They got their own laws. Like, imagine a king. What's it? Hey, all right. You know. I know you know what I'm talking about, right? When you have those, you might watch like a certain show or something like that, and it's that cat that's under the king, always trying to sway them with their cunning words and shit.
Like the dude, it's like
Go ahead.
The dude off of Lord of the Rings,
right,
that kept the king sick, and then once they got rid of him,
you see what I'm saying? He really trying to be the one to pull all the strings. This is right. Man, this is Haman right now. He like, man, if I could, my Lord, you know what I'm saying? These people, they don't keep your feast. They got their own stories, you know what I'm saying? And if I may, my Lord, you know what I'm saying? They don't follow nothing you follow. They got their own culture. They worship their own God and all of that. Keep reading. You gotta read this thinking about it like that. Keep reading.
And their laws are diverse from all people.
They don't keep your laws. They got their own laws. Everybody else in the kingdom, they follow your laws. But these people don't eat pork. They say it's a sin to eat pork. Like, what are they talking about? Keep reading.
Neither keep they the king's laws.
They don't keep your laws either. You know what I'm saying? You say that we're supposed to be celebrating this feast on this day in the month of Adar. They don't keep that. They talking about something about Passover. Keep reading.
Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
What are we doing? Why are they here? What the hell is the point of them even being here at that point? I'm just saying, sir. I'm Salakia. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me, I don't see what profit it does you to have such disrespectful people of culture in your amazing kingdom, my Lord. This is how he getting at him. You see what I'm saying? Now Xerxes, he's sitting there, he's stroking his beard. He listening. You know what I'm saying? He like, damn, okay. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse number 9. If it please the king.
Now, if you wouldn't mind, sir, if this is something that would please you and you know what I'm saying, your preferences. Keep reading.
Let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business.
Oh my God, what just happened? So what just happened right there in that verse? What did Haman just propose?
Whoever kills Mordecai, he'll pay the money to those people. If you let you take that charge.
Now sum it up though. What did he do? He put a bounty on our heads, man.
Sure.
He put a bounty on every Israelite's head. He said, look, man, these people are irrelevant to you. We don't need them. We should kill them. And anybody that does it, we're gonna pay them 10,000 pieces of silver. That is a bounty. One, you know the wanted dead or alive posters? Except these posters were saying wanted dead, though. You see what I'm saying? Imagine some big legislation getting passed today. You see what I'm saying? Where it's just like black people, you know what I'm saying? You kill a black person and bring them to Supreme Court or something like that, and you're gonna get rewarded. Or you see what I'm saying? That's what just happened back then. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasury.
To bring it into the king's treasury. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And the king took his ring from his hand.
So he like, you know what? No sweat. He take his ring off. Mind you, it's probably $1 billion ring. Go ahead.
And gave it unto Haman.
He said, you got it. He dropped it in Haman's hand. Go ahead.
The son of Haman.
Where you at?
Verse 10.
Hamadetha,
the Agagite, the Jews' enemy.
The what?
The Jews' enemy.
The what?
The Jews' enemy.
Remember, the Agagites are who?
The Jews' enemy.
The Jews' enemies. But who are the Agagites? They're the Macedonians. Who are who? The Edomites. And what did the Bible call the Edomites? Yep. What do they call them?
The white man.
Read. You reading it.
Come, verse
the Jews' enemies. That's what they called them.
Okay.
Even way back then, this is the Old Testament we're reading out of, man. It was always referred to as the Jews' enemies, man. Even under a whole nother kingdom, it's still the Jews' enemies. Keep reading. He took his ring off. He dropped it in his hand. Go ahead to verse 11.
Verse number 11. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee.
He took off this one ring that was on his finger because he proposed that we put a hit on all the Israelites in King Xerxes' kingdom or King Ahasuerus' kingdom. You see what I'm saying? Here in America today, you look at King Xerxes. That's what this is talking about. He took one ring off his finger and said, you know what? Use this. I approve your idea. We're going to pay anybody who kills the Jews. Go ahead. Mind you, he don't know what the hell Haman is talking about. He in this head like, damn, that's crazy. They don't follow me or my laws? Damn, we should kill him? I guess. Go ahead. You see what I'm saying? That's what is happening. Go ahead. Keep reading.
The people also to do with them as it seemed good to thee.
He gave them permission to do with us, with our children, man, as they see fit. Oh, you want to use them? They kids as gator bait? No problem. You want to choke and rape their women and kill their women? That's something that was happening to us back then, man. No sweat. And this king gave them reign to do that. Keep reading.
Verse 12. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month.
Now drop down to verse 4. So we get the point. Like I said, imagine this big legislation was passed. He's like, yeah, anybody who can find a Jew, let it be known that we about to pass and make it a law that you can kill these Jews, exterminate these Jews, and bring the evidence and bring their bodies to us. And we will pay you for it. 10,000 pieces of silver. You see what I'm saying? Now drop down to verse 4.
Come.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman.
Where you at?
Verse 4.
Esther chapter 4, verse 1? Yeah, slightly. Go to Esther 4 and 1.
Come. It's the book of Esther, chapter 4, and verse number 1. When Mordecai perceived all that was done.
Now imagine it come, like I said, put yourself in this time. Imagine you get a newspaper, you know what I'm saying? And it's saying King Ahasuerus approves the death of all the Jews for 10,000 slabs of silver all over the kingdom. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Like, you see what I'm saying? Now Mordecai, he's seeing this in the newspaper. Imagine you watching the news and you see this big legislation which just passed. And you a Jew, you a black man. Imagine Biden says every black man in America, all his family members, you know what I'm saying, everywhere, kill them. Leave no one left alive. It's going to be approved in 2 days. You see what I'm saying? Think you got to really put yourself in that time period. Go ahead.
Mordecai rent his clothes.
He did what?
Rent his clothes.
Go ahead.
And put on sackcloth with ashes.
Why did he do that? Keep reading. Finish it.
And went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and a bitter cry.
So what just happened right there? What did he do?
Crying to the Lord.
Go ahead, Rock.
That's what we do to show that we're in a state of like mourning, and then of course how we plead out to the Most High. We completely humble ourselves. So we rent our clothes, we tear them, bring us all the way down.
He's destroyed right now.
Right.
He's like, think about that. My cousin, everybody I grew up with, my family, they all finna die. I ain't bow to this heathen. What the hell are we talking about right now? He's saddened. He's miserable right now, man. He can't believe what he's hearing. That's the point. You see what I'm saying? Right. He's in disbelief of what the hell he's hearing. Keep reading.
Verse 2.
You had something?
I was just gonna say, what's heavy about that, like when you read throughout the scriptures, when it shows that we tear our clothes apart like that and cover ourselves in ash, it really shows like our
spirit. Christ, like I see you.
With our clothes, because when we dress up, got our full garment on and whatnot, that's basically expressing that we up.
Oh my goodness.
Down, you know what I'm saying? We express it through our clothes.
Can you think about that though? He said he rent his clothing. You see what I'm saying? Imagine having your most amazing. You proud of this fit.
Right.
You a black man. Black people take their clothes so serious.
Right.
Don't step on my shoe. Imagine being so sad that you go drag yourself through the mud. You in your most expensive clothing.
Right.
Salagia. You know what I'm saying? You take your brand new headpiece, brand new garment, and you rent it. Because you're trying to show how angry and how sad and how frustrated you are. You see what I'm saying? That's what Mordecai did, man. Because the death of his people was that serious to him. Keep reading.
Come. Verse number 2. And came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth.
Now he put on sackcloth. It just say he put on sackcloth and ashes. So now he at the king's gate and he mourning, he crying. He saying, y'all got us effed up. And he like, man, I can't believe what y'all doing to us, man. For what? You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Come. Verse number 3. And in every province, whether so the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews.
So now everyone's hearing about it. Everyone's hearing about this decree that's getting passed. Hey, all the Jews are going to get exterminated. It's a matter of time before the order gets put out. Could you imagine sitting at home with your family hearing this? Imagine you sitting at home with your family. You got kids, man. You got children. And you hearing, you watching the news, all blacks and Hispanics, if you black or Hispanic, the military is about to come gun you down 48 hours from now or whatever, something like that. Everywhere. There's nowhere to run. This is the law. He ruled over 128 provinces. No, you can go to hide from it. They're in great mourning. They can't believe their ears. Like, man, we've been serving this damn king faithfully for all this time, and this is the thanks we get. You see what I'm saying? Think about how they felt back then, man. Go ahead.
And fasting and weeping.
So now what they doing? They fasting and they weeping. What is that? Now I want to point something out. So all the time when we reading the book of Esther, what don't you see that you normally see throughout the rest of the Bible? What don't you see in the book of Esther? Think about it. Go ahead, Rock.
Like where we're glorifying the Lord, or even glorifying our, we're not in our glory.
What do you mean by that?
Like,
what do you mean we're not in our glory?
Like, okay, take for like example in Exodus, I think it's the 20th chapter, when Moses and the Israelites come together and they start singing the Lord's name, and that because of what the deliverance that the Most High had just given.
If I may, be like specific, because you own it, but be specific though. What don't you see in Esther that you see everywhere else in the Bible?
That we on top, basically.
No, that's not the answer. You raise your hand next, young man. Go ahead.
We ain't going to war.
No. Go ahead, Bakar. Go ahead, sis.
That the Most High's name is not mentioned.
That right there.
You never see that.
You read Esther. Normally you see in the Lord, and they prayed unto the Lord. You see what I'm saying? They prayed unto the Lord and asked for help, or did this and did that. You read Esther, it's just saying, and they fasted and they did this. You see what I'm saying? The Lord's name isn't mentioned in the book of Esther. You see what I'm saying? Why? Why is the Lord? Where's the Lord's name at? How come it doesn't? Why is it not saying they fasted and prayed unto the Lord of Israel? You see what I'm saying? Because we was under captivity, and the Lord. This is a story about the Lord showing how He's with you when you don't believe He's with you. This is a story showing how the Lord is there, even when He's not mentioned. Man, we gonna get into it. Keep reading. I'm gonna break it down.
Weeping and wailing.
They fasted and they weep. That's an Israelite custom, to fast because something is wrong. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
And wailing.
Where you at? What verse you at? So like
Verse 3.
this chapter 4, verse 3. Keep reading.
And many lay in sackcloth and ashes.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it. Chamberlains came and told it her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved.
So look, so while all this is happening, Esther don't got no clue what's going on. She's sitting there living her good life. You see what I'm saying? She didn't found her man or her dreams. She doing what the hell she doing, and it's all good. But then the servants coming, they telling her what's about to be passed. You see what I'm saying? Her connections, her connect that she got to the outside world, they coming at her there to know what's happening. And she's what?
Exceedingly grieved.
She exceedingly grieved. She can't believe her ears. Keep reading.
And she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai.
So now she's like, man, go get Mordecai, man. What the hell didn't happen? Go get Mordecai. Go ahead.
And to take away his sackcloth from him.
Go ahead.
But he received it not.
So she's saying, man, Mordecai is in mourning. He's miserable right now. Go get that sackcloth on him. Go put him in something better. Here, put this on him, and we could figure this out. Mordecai refused that. He said, I don't want it. We finna die out here. And you sitting in the kingdom's chambers. The hell are we talking about? You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Verse 5. Then called Esther for Hatak, one of the king's chamberlains. Hatak.
Keep reading.
One of the king's chamberlains, who he had appointed to attend upon her.
So now, one of the king's chamberlains, whose job was to make sure that all of Esther's needs was fulfilled. You see what I'm saying? He was her guard, basically. Keep reading.
And gave him a commandment to Mordecai.
She like, man, go say this to Mordecai. Keep reading.
To know what it was and why it was.
She like, man, go get Mordecai and find out what the hell didn't happen. I don't know what's going on. She don't know what the hell going on. She living peacefully in the king's palace. She don't know what's going on outside to her people. So she like, man, go fetch Mordecai. I'm giving you this job. Go fetch Mordecai and find out what happened. You see what I'm saying? I want to make sure I note once again, this is not Israelites right here. This is not our culture, man. You see what I'm saying? King Xerxes was not an Israelite. You see what I'm saying? Right. He was an Elamite. And this is not our culture because there are no queens in the nation of Israel. We already broke that down. We already pulled First Peter and saw why we are not Israelites and saw why the daughters of Israel are princesses, according to First Peter chapter, what was that, 3 and verse 6, I think it was. Yeah, we don't got to get back into it, but y'all get the point though. So this is why the sisters have to order this this man to go do this. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading. Matter of fact, drop down to what's that? 4, that was 1 through 5. Drop down to verse 13.
Verse number 13. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther.
So now she got in contact with him. All of this is going on. Keep reading.
Think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house.
So now Mordecai, like, man, let me tell you something. We dying out here. We like they finna kill us. Don't think that you're just gonna get away with just laying up peacefully under the king's protection. Because remember, it was Mordecai who told Esther, go in there, do what you gotta do, and don't tell him who you are. Don't tell him of your lineage, of your culture, none of that. This the king. He couldn't give a damn either way. He like, she bad. You see what I'm saying? And I don't give a damn where she came from. Look at her. Bring her here. He didn't give a damn what her culture was. So she never told him. She became the queen, never having to reveal her culture. You got to show you how this nigga didn't even give a damn who she was or where she came from. You know, you talking to a sister, you courting her, you asking her questions about herself, trying to get to know her. Well, none of that with King Xerxes, the King Ahasuerus. Go ahead.
If I may, question real quick. Xerxes never knew her though, right?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He did lay down with her?
Yes.
He did? Oh.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He definitely did. That's why when you start reading more of what we're trying to get into, you know what I'm saying? I just got to break down with Captain Nash. So, yes, I asked the same question. He definitely did. Go ahead, Bakar.
Was she sinning when she lay with him?
Yes. Yes, she was.
She did it knowingly or she did it on something?
She did it knowingly. You got to think. We're under captivity.
Right.
We under their captivity. You see what I'm saying? We're under the captivity of our enemies.
What I'm saying was it strategic, like for her to do that, or was it more like
not necessarily? She was following orders. You see what I'm saying? She was following the orders. Like if you go back to verse, what was that? That was verse 1, like that was chapter 1, verse 10, I think it was. We'll talk about how Mordecai told her, I need you to go here and do this and do this. You see what I'm saying? Vashti disrespected the king. That's how Esther had the opportunity to get in there. You see what I'm saying? But these are Israelites that's under captivity. You see what I'm saying? That's why when you read it, they don't say And Mordecai the Great, Mordecai who was a just man of the Lord, who the Lord honored. It don't say none of that, because the point of this story is, and I'm glad you asked this question, the point of the story is these was niggas just like you would be. But we knew who we was, though. That don't mean that we was perfect. That don't mean that we was keeping every commandment according to God. You see what I'm saying? We knew that we was Jews and we was different from everybody else, and they hated us. Just like you grow up and your parents telling you, man, you black, man. These white folks hate you. So you don't bow to no white man when everybody else bowing to the white man. This was that. You see what I'm saying? And this is a story about how the Lord was there for cats just like that. Just like who we are here today. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And you gonna see what I'm talking about the more we get into it. Think about it. Mordecai didn't bow. He didn't bow down to Haman when he walked past, but he still reported that two heathens was trying to kill the king. Why would he do that? What sense does that make? The king is a heathen. What does that have to do with him? You see what I'm saying? He still made sure he reported, hey, Esther, if I'm gonna kill your mans. You see what I'm saying? And Esther reported, and it got written in the king's records that Mordecai saved your life. You see what I'm saying? That was just Mordecai doing what he thought was the right thing to do. You see my point? The point of this story is the Lord is with you even when you don't think the Lord is with you. You don't know how the hell you came across the ISUPK. You don't know how the hell you found this truth, or how you just so you think it's a damn coincidence that you found the truth? You think it's a coincidence that one day you seen brothers speaking on the corners, you doing all manner of wickedness, selling drugs and all of that? You think it's a coincidence? No, it was not a coincidence. You see what I'm saying? Right. Just like Paul said, the Lord directed thy steps. You see what I'm saying? The Lord is the one who makes sure that you are where you need to be at that time. I hear brothers break down all the time, like, man, I don't know what it was, but I went one time I was doing this and I left this store, and after that the store got robbed. Like, you could run it, man. So many brothers got stories like that, man. Because the Lord just wanted to show you that he was with you. The book of Esther is a book of a brother by the name of Mordecai, not Esther. This story is about Mordecai and how the Lord showed that he was with us, man, but through Mordecai's actions. Because of what Mordecai did, the entire nation of Israel did not perish, man. We're going to get into it. I wanted to bring that out at the end, but you asked now, so damn. To hell. Now you're good. Go ahead, keep reading.
It's, think not with, verse 13. Think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house.
She said, hey, look, I didn't send you. Yeah. He like, man, I didn't send you here. You know what I'm saying? Now you living righteously. You see what I'm saying? Righteously. Now you living royally and luxuriously. You see what I'm saying? Don't think that you're going to just escape this fate because you're in the king's house. You got to pay for this. You see what I'm saying? Because you escaping the fate that's meant for you because I told you not to reveal yourself. Keep reading.
More than all the Jews. Verse 14. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place.
What does that mean? He said, man, look, I didn't give you. He said, man, look, if you keep your peace right here and you let us die, now that I'm telling you what's going on, you going to pay for this down the line. Now he returning to his roots. Now he's saying how, you know how everybody believe in karma and all of that? It's the Lord that's dishing that out. Now he's talking to her like that. He said, you keep your peace right here. When we finna die, if you want to, you're going to pay for it. That's what he's telling her. Keep reading.
But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed.
Your father's house shall be destroyed. Keep reading. Where you at? What verse?
Verse 14.
You at verse, that's 5 and 14?
4 and 14.
4 and 14. Keep reading.
And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?
Keep reading.
Verse 15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer.
So Mordecai basically selling this to her through a letter or through hearsay. You know what I'm saying? Somebody comes, hey, she said this. He's, man, give her this message. And then the person goes and delivers this message to Esther. Now she's delivering the message unto Mordecai. Keep reading.
Verse 16. Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan.
So this is Esther's answer. She said, man, go get all the Jews that's there in Shushan. Keep reading.
and fast ye for me,
and fast for me. Why is she saying fast for me? Keep reading.
and neither eat nor drink 3 days.
Don't eat and don't drink 3 days. This is the Israelite custom. This is something that we do when we're in mourning, when we need something to happen. Keep reading.
Night or day.
Night or day. She said, man, everybody, we going through this crazy time. Now we praying unto the Lord. You see what I'm saying? This is what Israelites do when we praying unto the Lord. Now we fast in 3 days and we hoping that he can save us. Keep reading.
I also and my maidens will fast likewise.
Me and all the people that serve under me, we gonna fast too, and we gonna pray too. Keep reading.
And so will I go unto the king, which
Keep
is
reading.
not according to the law.
Which is not according to the law. What's not according to the law? She said, I'm gonna go into the king, which is not according to the law. What is she talking about? I'm gonna give it to you for time's sake. She's talking about, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna present myself in the court, which women was not allowed to do back then. You can't just go into the king's court and demand a meeting with the king, demand the king hear your request. It would kill you for that. And she knew that. So what did she say?
And so I will go unto the king, which is not according to the law.
And if what?
And if I perish, I perish.
I damn near could drop a tear when I read this, man, because she has so much love for her people. She said, man, look, you know what? I'm here. I'm the queen. I'm this. I hear what's going on. I'm going to go into the king's court. And if I die, I die. But I'm going to risk my life and I'm going to lay my life down for my people. That's what she said. Keep reading.
Verse 17. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him.
Go to verse 5.
Verse 5. Chapter 5. This is Esther chapter 5.
Chapter 5, yes. Like.
Now it came to pass on the 3rd day that Esther put on her royal apparel.
So now she's like, well, today's the day. It's time for me to do what I got to do. Keep reading.
And stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house, and the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house.
Go ahead.
Over against the gate of the house.
Keep reading.
Verse 2. And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight.
Now you got to think, she doing something that's against the law of the land. She entering the king's court, but she smart though. She put on her baddest dress, put on her best fragrance oils, all of that. She going to the king's court and she applies favor. She gets favor in the king's sight. I think her heart beating. She's scared and she gets favor in the king's sight. Keep reading.
And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter,
the scepter
that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter.
Now, what was that gesture right there? It said he held out the golden scepter. And she drew near to the top of the scepter. What is that? That's the gesture of a king approving someone to enter into his presence. He's sitting on his throne, someone enter his court. You see what I'm saying? He draws a scepter like approved. You see what I'm saying? She was able to draw near. Or he could have did another gesture that would have killed her. But he put think about that. She doing something completely illegal in that time. Going into the king's court to demand a meeting with the king. Her heart beating, she's scared. And then he put out a golden scepter and she like, huh. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Verse 3. Then said the king unto her, what wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request?
He like, what the hell you here? What do you want? Go ahead.
It shall be even given thee to the half of the kingdom.
He like, you looking good today. I'll give you anything you want from even into the half of the kingdom. You name it is yours. Keep reading.
Verse 4.
We're going to go a little bit over the time. So like it.
And Esther answered, if it seem good unto the king,
go ahead.
Let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him.
So now she preparing the plot. She like, man, you know what? I need you and Haman to come to this amazing banquet that I'm preparing. Because she knows that she's going to ask for the freedom of her people. And she's going to expose Haman for being the wicked bastard that he is. Keep reading.
Verse 5. Then the king said, because Haman caused Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther has said.
He said, oh, that's it? You just want us to attend a function? You want to party with me and Haman? Tell Haman to hurry up and we're going to make this happen. Keep reading.
So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. Verse 6. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee.
Keep reading.
And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom, it shall be performed.
Now, Esther like, damn, you fuck with me like that? Salaya. She's like, oh, for real? We that cool? Say less. Keep reading.
Verse 7. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if
Go ahead.
verse 8, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition,
If we really that cool, and if it's okay with you, my Lord, keep reading.
and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them.
Keep reading.
And I will do tomorrow as the king has said.
Go to verse 9.
Verse 9. Then went Haman forth that day, joyful and with a glad heart.
So now Haman, he hearing about it. Think about it, this is a proud Edomite. He's like, man, I got summoned to the king's banquet, just the king and the queen and myself, and that's it. Like he like, oh yeah, we turned up today. You see what I'm saying? He feeling himself. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate,
Keep reading.
that he stood not up.
Now remember, Mordecai this whole time refused to bow. That's how all this got started. Mordecai won't bow to Haman. So Mordecai, he going about his way. He feeling good. Yeah, I'm gonna go chill with the king and the queen. I'm really royalty. I'm really on their level. Da, da, da. And then he look to his left and he see everybody bowing. Mordecai just standing there, and he like, all that happiness just turns to disgust. He just get angry all over again. Keep reading.
So it moved for him. He was full of indignation against Mordecai.
Full of indignation. What is indignation? Disgust and anger. And I hate this nigga, man. Like he won't like. Keep reading.
Verse 10. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself.
He like, you know what? I'm gonna kill this nigga anyways. We already in the works of getting this shit approved. No sweat. Keep reading.
And when he came home, he sent and called for his friends.
He sent and called for who?
His friends.
Go ahead.
And Zeresh, his wife.
Go ahead.
And Haman told them of the glory of his riches.
Go ahead.
And the multitude of his children.
Keep reading.
And all the things wherein the king had promoted him. And how he had advanced him above the princes and the servants of the king.
So think about this conversation. He like, man, I'm over here, man. I'm this number 2 to the king, and I'm this and I'm that. I got command of hundreds of thousands of men in this army. I got everything I could ever want. But keep reading.
Verse 12. Haman said, moreover, yet Esther, the queen, did not let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared, but myself.
She like, man, Esther, the queen throwing this big ass feast, and me and the king, the only one she want there. Like, I'm really that guy for real. Keep reading.
And tomorrow, am I invited into her also with the king?
Me and the king, the only ones that she want there. This is going to be like, I'm really on that level.
Verse 13. Yet all this availeth me nothing.
But I don't give a damn about none of that, though. You know why? You know why? Keep reading.
So long as I see Mordecai, the Jew, sitting at the king's gate.
Because punk ass Mordecai won't bow to me, man. I'm on this, like, think about my status. And this peasant, this nobody, this Jew, this black man, he won't bow. He pisses me off every time I see his face. Keep reading.
Verse 14.
Like, you really think about the conversation that's being had back then.
Verse 14. Then said Zeresh, his wife.
So Zeresh is like, well, damn. I mean, if it's that serious, go ahead.
And all his friends unto him.
So they all like, man, look, I'm going to sum it up. We got to skip down a little bit. They basically tell him, man, look, if it's that deep, build some gallows. Y'all know what gallows is, right? All right, break down what a gallows is. You know what a gallows is, right? All right. Go ahead, Bakar.
It's the little thing where they chop your head off.
No, that's a
for hanging.
A gallows is when, think about, you ever see those Western movies where the hands tied behind their back and they standing with the rope and then the floor just falls and they hang?
Yeah,
That's
what
a-
I meant.
Yeah. They like, man, look, if it's that deep, man, you should build a gallows specifically for Mordecai. You see what I'm saying? And tomorrow we go to that banquet, present it to the king. You that guy, he fuck with you, he goes, excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be good. You see what I'm saying? Now drop down to verse 4.
The book of Esther, chapter 6, verse 4. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was coming to the outward court of the king's house.
Oh, so like, matter of fact, go to verse 6. Chapter 6, verse 1.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 6, verse 1.
This is the most important part of this story.
On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles.
Now look, on that same night, While Haman is like, yeah, man, tomorrow at this banquet, I'm gonna build this gallows and I'm gonna go present this idea to kill Mordecai in front of everybody to make an example for disrespecting me, the king's number 2, the king's right hand man. You see what I'm saying? He's getting ready to do this on that same night, though. The king can't sleep. The king, for some reason, he can't fall asleep. So what does he do? He has what? He commanded to bring what?
The book of the records of the Chronicles.
He said, man, you know what? Bring me my chronicles. Go ahead.
And they were read before the king.
Bring me all my records and read my chronicles so I can hear how great I am. So I can hear that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that'll help me get to sleep. You see what I'm saying? He like, keep reading.
Verse 2. And it was found written that Mordecai had told Bigthana
and Teresh,
2 of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hands on the king Assuerus.
Now think about this. Now we read earlier, I told you this is that part where Mordecai reported those 2 chamberlains, how important that was to understanding Purim. Think about the king. He's sitting there, he can't sleep. He's like, man, tell me about how great I am. Read my records. I can't sleep. And you conquered Egypt and the Babylonians, my lord. And you conquered this. Yeah, I sure did do that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And Mordecai saved your life, my lord. Wait, what? Mordecai saved my life. What happened? Damn, that was him. Keep reading. Verse 3.
Verse 3. And the king said, what honor and dignity had been done to Mordecai for this?
He like, well, what did we reward him for saving? Like, he reported that shit. Did we reward him? Go ahead.
Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him.
So they looking at like, shit, what are we rewarding? Keep reading.
There was nothing done for him.
We ain't give him nothing. So I give you, sir. Keep reading.
Verse 4. And the king said, who is in the court?
Yo, who the hell are y'all niggas? What are we talking about? We didn't reward him anything? Keep reading.
Now Haman was coming to the outer court.
Or as a matter of fact, I said that wrong. Now at this same exact time, so let me correct myself. At this same exact time, while he realizing what Mordecai had done and how they didn't reward him, now Haman is making his way. You see what I'm saying? To tell the king about his idea to kill Mordecai. Think about, do you think this is coincidence? Do you think this happening just because, man, this was God Almighty behind this, man.
Right.
Now Haman come in to tell the king about his great idea. Keep reading.
Verse 4. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was coming to the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai.
To hang Mordecai on the gallows that he just built. Go to verse 5.
Verse 5. And the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standing in the court.
So the king like, man, who the hell is in my court? They're like, oh, this Haman out there. You know what I'm saying? This Haman. Go ahead.
And the king said, let him come in.
Oh, you let him in. Don't sweat. Go to verse 6.
Verse 6. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him.
So look, before Haman can even start talking about what he want to talk about, the king is like, man, I got a question for you. You know what I'm saying? Imagine your boy walked in. You've been thinking about this shit all day. But now here comes somebody who you respect walks in. So you present the question to them. Go ahead.
What shall be done unto the man who the king delighted to honor?
This is such a movie to me. This part right here. This is like I'm reading a damn movie. He's like, man, what do you do to somebody who you just like owe everything to? You just appreciate amongst everyone else in the world. Like, how do you reward them for such amazing deeds? Keep reading.
Now, Haman thought in his heart.
Now, Haman in his head, like, he talking about me right now. Oh shit, he talking about me. Oh man, shit. That's like, keep reading. Go to verse 7.
Verse number 7. And Haman answered the king.
Haman like, for the man who the king delighted the most. Shit. Go to verse 8.
Verse 8. Let the royal apparel be brought, which the king uses to wear.
Man, you should bring the greatest garments that you used to wear, the ones that's worth the millions and billions. You should clothe them in that. You know what I'm saying, sir? Keep reading.
And the horse that the king rideth upon.
And your favorite horse, you should give him your favorite horse. Honestly, think about a slimy serpent. Right. He think the king is asking about him. So he just say like, I'll get, man, if it was me. You know, I'm not saying you got to do this, but if it was me though, I give him the craziest garments and all the jewelry and all the cars and all the women and all of that. That's what Haman is doing right now. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
And the crown royal, which is set upon his head.
And your favorite crown, you should just put that on his head. Whoever you're talking about. I mean, I don't know. Who am I? I don't know. Keep reading.
Verse 9. And let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes.
And your most noble prince, your most noble servant, you should have them deliver it to him. And make everyone see. Go ahead.
That they may array the man with all whom the king.
I cannot stress to you enough that this is something that really happened. Like, just think about being a guard. You got to be serious all the time, and you just listening to this conversation. Keep reading. So, like, I want everybody in this room to imagine yourself as a guard. Imagine the guard, and you can't crack. You got to just be serious. Keep reading.
That they may array the man with all whom the king delighted to honor, and bring him on horseback.
Bring him on horseback. Keep reading.
Through the street of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man who the king delighted to honor.
Now go to verse 10.
Verse 10.
Now the king looks at Haman. He's like, you know what? I like that. Keep reading.
Then the king said to Haman, make haste.
Man, you know what? You right. You know what? Hey, guards, everybody, let's go. We finna do exactly what he just. I like. That's why I'll fuck with you for us. Like, excuse my language. Keep reading.
And take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said.
Get everything that he just said. Go ahead.
And do even so to Mordecai.
And do what?
And do even so to Mordecai the Jew.
And his heart sunk. You gotta think about him. He's sitting there. Yeah, you know what? Get all that. He's sitting there like, and give it to Mordecai. He's sitting there like, he can't believe his ears right now. Mordecai, the nigga that I can't stand. I hate this nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the king is like, give all my rank and everything and all the greatest and give it to Mordecai. You got it, bro. Imagine being a guard in that room at that time, bro. Hey, you can't laugh. Oh my God. It's a light. Go ahead, all right.
No, if I may, and then not only that, he just got done boasting to his friends and his girl.
He was just like, man, I'm that guy and I'm that nigga and the king loved me and the queen, she wanted me to be here for this. We ain't even got to the point yet. So I'm way over the time. We got to drop down. But y'all see what I'm saying though. Basically, I'm gonna have to skip down, man. Y'all gotta. I apologize sincerely. You know what I'm saying? But basically, everything that Haman said to give that he thought he was going to get, because he thinking the king was talking about him. You know what? I can't even skip it. Read it. It's too sweet to skip.
Verse 10. That sitteth at the king's gate, let nothing fail of all that has spoken. Verse 11. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse,
Bruh.
and arrayed Mordecai.
This is the part I didn't want to skip. He said, yeah, everything you just said, get everything you just said, and I want you to deliver it to him.
Right.
Could you imagine thinking about the person you hate the absolute most in the world? You hate this nigga with all your heart. He said, I want you to go. Mind you, King Osiris don't know nothing about their beef. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't his head like, I heard he saved my life. What do we do for him? And now the Lord made Haman be there at that time. And now you got to get mad crazy. Where you at? This chapter what? Chapter 5?
Chapter 6.
You're chapter 6, verse 10. You're in verse 11 now. So basically what ended up happening is Haman ended up having to bring it to him and ride him through on horseback and do everything that he said. Go ahead, sis.
You know, so like you said, the other thing that's really bad is that Haman keeps talking about and the king and the king and the king. And the king didn't invite him.
And
Esther
the king
invited him.
and Esther invited him, not even the king. You see what I'm saying? Now go to where I want you to go. You in 6 right now? You just read verse 11. Now drop down to drop down to chapter 7 and 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 7.
First of all, let me say, like, my bad. But y'all see what's going on though, right? This was no coincidence that Haman was getting ready to go. He already got it approved to slaughter all the Jews. But right when he goes to decide, hey, now I'm going to kill Mordecai, what happened? Now King Xerxes can't sleep at night. Now he up and he want the chronicles to be read to him. And now he realized that Mordecai did, man. Real quick, all right, give me the book of Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 8. 16 and 8.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 8. Better is a little with righteousness.
Verse 9. It's like it. I think it's verse 9.
A man's heart deceiveth
There it
his
is.
way.
A man's heart what?
A man's heart deceiveth his way.
You don't know what the hell you, mind you, your heart is your mind. The things you want to do, you don't know where the hell you're going. Keep reading.
So I get it. But the Lord directed his steps.
But the Lord directed his steps, man. You see what I'm saying? You don't know what the hell it is you want to do for real. You living your life the way you think you're supposed to be living your life. You don't know what the hell the Lord is protecting you from every single day, man. But he protecting you. He the one directing your steps. He the one steering you out the way. Go to chapter 20 and verse 20. 24. Chapter 20, verse 24. Proverbs 20, 24.
Wait, 20 and 24?
Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24.
Okay. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 24. Man's goings are of the Lord.
Or of who?
Of the Lord.
Man, there are no coincidences. It ain't by chance that King Ahasuerus couldn't sleep that night, man. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And he was up to hear the records about how great Mordecai was. That was the Lord, man. Now think about what the Lord could do for you. It wasn't by chance that you stumbled upon this truth. It's not by chance you found the Isupk. You think it's by chance? It just don't happen. You think you just so happen to find a UPK? Is that what you think? You be fooling yourself if you think that, man. The Lord chose you to be here. The Lord saw something in you that you do not see in yourself. The Lord sees something in you that you still haven't even seen in yourself, man. I'm going to tell you like that. And it is your job to not prove him wrong about you, man. It's your job. It's your job to honor the fact that you were chosen. You know why? Because it is millions of us out there lost. And he could have picked any one of them. You see what I'm saying? Hold your point because we way over the time. Go back to Esther chapter 7 and verse 1.
God, it's the book of Esther, chapter 7 and verse number 1.
What did Esther do? Keep reading.
So the king and Haman came to banquet with Esther the queen. Verse 2. And the king said again unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee.
So he basically like, man, what is it you want? Like, let me know. You here with this banquet. You did do this. Like, you must want something. Come on now. Like, what we doing? Go to verse 3.
Verse 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight.
She like, man, look, if you really love me, if you really care about me, this is all I want in the world. Keep reading.
O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition.
So like, if I'm out of order right now, ask what I'm finna ask, because she's about to ask that a direct order that he approved be resent. You see what I'm saying? That's an offense back then where they'll kill you for that. She like, man, if what I'm about to ask deserves for me to be killed, no problem. But I gotta ask it. I gotta ask. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
And my people at my request.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we have been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I have held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage.
Come on now. She basically telling him, like, she just told him, I'm a Jew. My people are, you just passed the legislation to kill all of my people. You see what I'm saying? And all of this and all of that. The king listening like, damn. Keep reading.
Verse 5. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he? And where is he?
She like, because she just told him, she's like, man, yo, you didn't pass the legislation to kill all my people, and this wicked person and is finna slay all my people. We bomb men and my women, all of this. He like, well, who the hell are you talking about? Who is he? Like, you see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
That doors presume in his heart to do so. Verse
He
6.
like, so who the hell trying to kill your people? I don't know nothing. Mind you, he didn't already prove the death of the Jews, but he's a king of incredible riches. He approves stuff every day. You don't remember? He like, what are we talking about? Who? When? What did I approve? Go ahead.
Verse 6. And Esther said that adversary.
Go ahead.
An enemy
And who?
is an enemy is this wicked Haman.
She like, is that wicked bastard right over there? And King Ahasuerus just turns and looks like, what the hell? You see what I'm saying? This is right-hand man. He's like, what the hell are we talking about? Keep reading.
Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen.
You got to think, while all of this is going on, Haman is sitting there sweating in his boots, man. He is sweating right now. He like, oh my goodness, like, please don't say what I know you're about to say. Keep reading.
Verse 7. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden.
So he went into the palace garden. Why? Because he like, this is a lot to take in. My wife is a Jew. My queen is a damn Israelite. She wants Haman dead, and this. He's, you know what I'm saying? He don't say nothing. He stands up, he turns around, and he walks to his garden. He's standing out there looking like he don't know what the hell to do. You see what I'm saying? Keep reading.
And Haman stood up to make request for his life.
So when he left, he goes to Esther. Esther, he's like, yo, please, like, don't do this. Like, come on, spare me. He's shaking in his boots. Keep reading.
To Esther the queen, when he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king.
He see what it is. He know his fate. He know what's coming. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine. And Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face.
As he was given an order to arrest Haman, think about how fast this Shamar work was. Think about how fast security was. As he was given an order, take Haman as he was saying it, they covered his face. As the words coming out of his mouth, they covered him and took him prisoner. You see what I'm saying? He didn't even get the full sentence out yet. You see what I'm saying? Go to verse 10.
Verse 10. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai.
On what?
So they hanged Haman on the gallows.
That he prepared for who?
That he had prepared for Mordecai.
For who?
Mordecai.
For who?
Mordecai.
For Mordecai, man. The Lord is with you, man. Get the Lord a hand, first of all. Let me tell you something. Just because you don't know what the hell the Lord is protecting you from, you think because you don't see angels standing around you, the angels ain't there? It's angels standing around you everywhere you go, man, protecting you from only God knows what. You see my point? They're there and they making sure you're all right, man. The Lord probably killed heathens for you every goddamn day, man. You don't know it. You know how many people hate you and plot against you every damn day? Just because you? You don't know it, but the Lord do. And the Lord deals with them, man. Did Mordecai ever have a physical? Let me ask you something. Throughout this whole story, do you see anywhere where it says Mordecai had a physical conversation with Haman? Do you see anywhere where it said that and Haman went unto Mordecai and told him to bow, and Mordecai bowed not? Nowhere. Haman never even talked to Mordecai. It was a servant that was there like, man, you supposed to bow to him. You see what I'm saying? And then they were telling Haman just hate Mordecai more than anybody in the world. Mordecai don't know nothing about it. And the Lord ended up killing him for him because he was going to kill all of Israel, man. That's our life here in America. You see what I'm saying? Drop down to chapter 9, and I want you to read verse 18. You see what I'm saying?
The book of Esther, chapter 9, and verse number 18. But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together
Go ahead.
On the 13th day thereof.
But the who?
But the Jews.
Keep reading to where you left off of.
And on the 14th thereof, and on the 15th day of the same, they rested.
So that's why Purim is 2 days. Because they partied for 2 days when they saw what the Lord did for them, man. When they saw the Lord killed the wicked Haman, the enemy of the Jews. Keep reading.
And made it a day of feasting and gladness.
And made it a day of feasting and gladness, man. And that's why we acknowledge Purim to this day. Because the Lord, while we was in captivity, he came forth and he defended us, man, against the wicked Haman. He killed Haman. Had him hung upon a tree. You don't know what the hell the Lord defends you from every day, man. You gotta think about that when you here going through your everyday life. When you go into your slavery, when you even go into the store dealing with what you're dealing with, man. You see what I'm saying? The Lord is with you, man. And that is the point of the Feast of Purim. That is why we here acknowledging what we acknowledge it, man. You see what I'm saying? Hey, Shalom, y'all about to see one strike thought. But you get what I'm saying? The Lord is with you, man. Always, man. You see what I'm saying? And that is the significance of this story. And that is the significance of our lives here in America. You see what I'm saying? Because the world is against us here in America, man. The Lord is not against us, man. You see what I'm saying? I want to put one more scripture. Go to John chapter 6 and verse 40. Man, if I'm going to say that's a whole different topic, I'm saying for another class, man. You see what I'm saying? But once again, man, this has been the Isupk, the Commander Junior Hunter. This is the Isupk Las Vegas. We here and we acknowledging the Feast of Purim. With that, pass the class over to Priest Norman Sir Rock. We good?
Yeah.
Oh, so like we good then. You know what I'm saying? But with that, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that y'all share these classes, like these classes, comment on these classes, man. You see what I'm saying? If you got any questions that any of us might not be able to answer, put the questions you might have to know the answer to. Put the questions into these classes, man. Ask these questions, and we're gonna get to them as soon as possible, man. We here for our people. We here for the Blacks, Hispanics, and American Indians here in the nation of Israel, man. See what I'm saying? With that, shalom.